Hi everyone, Christine here at the craft table. It's a bit late on Sunday night, September 7th. So I'm here to give you a quick update on the week, crochet-wise and health-wise. It's been a struggle this week. Not crochet-wise, sadly, but health-wise. Yeah. Did not do well at all. So let's talk about crochet first, okay? I am happy to report that I finished this wrap that I was making for the summer crochet along with Judy's Creations in Crochet and Kathy W. at Yarn with Heart. This is the Honey Ripple scarf, and it's quite large. But my favorite part is these tassels on the ends. It's very fun. I'll put a few pictures of the scarf on the mannequin so you can see it completely. But I'm really happy with it. It's a very cute pattern. Pretty easy once you get going on it. It's just a 6-row repeat, but they're easy. They're very easy rows. Single crochets, window rows. Probably the most challenging is just this row of single crochets in the third loop to give you this braid along the front. And yeah, so I'm real happy. It leaves you with a nice edge. You don't need a border. And then again, the suggested tassels. I started it and ended it with a row of single crochets. So that's one end, and here's the other. They look the same. It is 68 inches long with the tassels. The tassels are about 5 inches each. They're huge. They're really fun. Have I said that? Yes, I've said that. And about 19 inches wide. So it is, it's substantial. If you're going to wear it as a scarf, it'll be a nice cozy scarf. But you can also wear it as a wrap. It's wide enough. And the original pattern used a DK weight, so I think hers is a little bit narrower and shorter. Or she actually went a few rows longer than I did. I think she did a total of 166 rows, and I think mine was somewhere around 145. I used a total of 951 yards total. Of that, 541 was in the gold and 410 was in the ivory color. And so yeah, very happy with it. Very happy with the pattern. Recommend it. It's free on her website. I will leave a link to it, as I have in the last couple weeks that I've been talking about this, in the description box below the video. So I sent a picture of that off to Kathy for the slideshow coming up soon of everybody's projects in that pattern. I think someone even made a shirt out of it, which is really cool. The next thing I worked on this week was I started another pair of socks because I love these crochet socks. The pattern is by Olga Poltava. It's called Socks for Chubby Feet. And the yarn I'm using is this Barocco socks that I received in a prize from Diane at My Pink Bathtub. She recently did a Christmas in July, and I was the winner of her wonderful gift box full of wonderful yarn. That's how it looks on the skein, and it works up into this beautiful pattern. So I'm just going to do the socks all in that one yarn. I'm not going to do a different color for the heel or cuff because it's got so much variety in it already. And they are coming out beautifully. I'm working the second one up to this point too, and then I'll finish off the heel and the cuff parts. So those are coming along nicely. I made good progress on them this week. And yeah, I'm real happy with that. Thank you again, Diane, for that lovely yarn. And the last thing I started this week was a blanket for Boggy Creek Camp. And if you don't know what Boggy Creek Camp is, I will leave a link to a video to tell you more about that. But there is a current drive going on to collect blankets, and a bunch of wonderful designers have designed blankets for that are come out the perfect size for you, and they're available for free. All of their patterns. There's just wonderful support for this collection drive, which is an annual thing hosted by several crocheters on YouTube. And so I am making this blanket that is absolutely adorable. It's called Marshmallow Kiss. The pattern is by Trish at Mama Swift, is her YouTube channel. And it's part of the Luck of the Draw 10, I believe, which is being hosted by Jax at Creations by Jax and Trish at Mama Swift. And we are on week 5. Or we just completed week 5. Every Thursday they release the number of the next color that you're to choose. You start out with a main color and 5 choices of your color palette that you choose. And then every week they draw a number out of a cup and that number corresponds to one of the yarns in your palette, and that's the yarn that you use next. So this is my palette, and I'm using Lion Brand Pound of Love in the color Antique White, and then Hobby Lobby I Love This Yarn in orange. That's also Hobby Lobby I Love This Yarn in terracotta. And this is Coffee in the same line. This gold is Karen Simply Soft. And then we're back to the orange that I started with. So my palette is a fall palette, and I'm hoping that I get to use this Pagoda Green because that will really just complete the whole look of the blanket, I think. I made a mistake in my calculations, and I started out doing just 2 rows per week after this first week that was 4 rows. And it should have been 4 rows per week, so 2 rows of each color. So these first 3 weeks are kind of close together because there should have actually been more rows of the same color. So here I corrected, and I did 2 rows of the ivory and 2 rows of the orange for week 5, and then finished off with 2 rows of the main. So now we will continue with 2 rows of the next 5 colors to be chosen. It's a 10-week program, crochet along. But I just love this pattern, and everybody who feels this blanket pattern talks about how squishy the blanket comes out, and that is totally true. It is so fun, and it's addictive. One, because the pattern is so fun, but two, because with luck of the draw, you want to see what the next color coming up is and see how that works into your pattern, into your blanket. So this is just totally a fun thing to do. And I am happy to participate and be able to send off another blanket. I still have the one I finished a week or so ago, waiting to be mailed, and I will mail it with this one and hopefully one other one I'm working on. I just need to join those squares. It's a color block blanket that I started a year ago, I think. So those are the 3 projects that I worked on this week. And yeah, I've had fun crocheting. Okay, so now the bad news. My health update. I gained 1.6 pounds this week because I did not watch my diet carefully. I kind of watched it derail. And I just started out the week making poor choices, and it's kind of like a domino effect, you know. It's hard to break that snowball that is just rolling down the hill, you know. I started on Sunday by having a salty fast food meal from Chick-fil-A. I didn't have the full meal. I just had the chicken, but it did the job, and I ate more than I should have. It's something about the combination of their chicken and that Polynesian sauce that they offer. Yeah, it's hard to stop, and I didn't stop when I should have stopped and ate too much. So, I mean, I try to correct to some degree by eating vegetables, but I'd already done the damage. And then the next day I was craving bread, and I gave into that, and I ended up having bread every day of the week. And I love sourdough bread, and I had a loaf of sourdough bread in the fridge, and sure enough, I ate 1 or 2 slices every day. I also had a bagel 2 days. It was just, it was a bad week. And it's like every time I was tempted, I gave in. I don't know. I do know. I know. I was making choices based on my emotions. This is not about hunger. This is about like this feeling you get in your head that you deserve it, or you have the memory of how good it used to taste when you would eat this, and it's like I turn off everything else in my mind except for that desire to eat whatever it is. And some people can just make the decision they're not going to eat that stuff anymore, and it never creeps up on them, and they just stick to their resolve. And yeah, I'm not that person, obviously. I mean, I'm trying, and I've had some good weeks and some good, victories, and sadly, I am able to just ignore all of that and give in to those cravings. So I'm feeling really disappointed in myself. But I know I'm at the same time, I'm human. And I could not expect to be perfect, because that would be an unrealistic expectation. And it doesn't make me a bad person. I just chose unwisely, and the scale paid me for it. So yeah, I have no one to blame but myself. But I'm not going to sit there and wallow in it. I'm going to just hit that reset button and do better. And try my best to do better. So yeah, it was the bread. It was the salty food. I also, I was at Hobby Lobby of all places. I don't remember what day it was, midweek. And I got all the way to the register, and you'll know Hobby Lobby does not sell food, but they sell candy at the registers. And I'm usually never tempted by it because it's exorbitant prices. It's probably the most expensive candy bar you'll ever buy. So I just don't look at them. Well, I had been scouring the store for red tags, so my eyes were focused on red tags. And what do you know, but the register that I walk up to has candy bars with red tags on them. Clearance, 49 cents. And they got me. Yeah. Regular old candy bars. Normally, selling for over $1, and they had been marked down to just under 50 cents. And it's hard to find a candy bar for 50 cents anymore. So I justified it in my mind, and I bought 2 candy bars, and I ate them both. Again, not proud, but I did it. So no, I am not blaming Hobby Lobby. Nobody forced anything into my mouth. Okay, what else did I? I did a grocery order. I was just in a bad place mentally, and maybe I was hungry when I was making that grocery order, but I wanted a donut, and they had the donuts on sale, and I bought 6 chocolate donuts. And I also ordered some cheesecake and ice cream. I'm just being real here. Yeah, I went for all of it, and I ate some of all of it this week, and I have paid. So not good. But if you're struggling with the same issue I am, you've probably dealt with stuff like this. We are not proud, but it happened, and we're going to move on. And I got some great encouragement today. I turned on Jack Hibbs' sermon for the day, and it was just totally for me. Honestly, he was talking about gluttony, the first part of the sermon. It was like, okay, Lord, I hear you. And then I was on YouTube, and Maureen at My Crochet Story does like a daily devotion. And I don't catch it very often, but today I did. And it was so beautiful about the fact that God's loving kindness is what draws us to repentance. And that is totally true for me. He is so merciful and kind, and he knows I'm made of dust. There's a scripture in the Bible that says he knows our frame, he knows we are made of dust, and he is forgiving. And that loving kindness just draws us and picks us up off the ground when we fall, and helps us back up, and forgives when we fail him, and just is waiting for us to call on his help, to receive that help and the strength that will only come from him. I've said it before, I'm not going to make this change on my own, that is for sure. And another thing I have to say that probably led to all of my weakness this week is I did not devote the time that I know I need to be in his word. In the mornings, my devotional time, I would just get up and start the day and would not spend the time that I needed with him, and I paid for that. Yeah. So, all that to say, I know why I had such a bad week, and I hope and pray that this coming week is much better. I know it can be. I know what to do. It's just doing it. So, And then another frustration is my knee is still bugging me when I walk very much. So I have to I'm doing exercises to strengthen it, but it's going to take a while. And if I tax it too much before then, it pays me with pain. And so I need to deal with that. And just keep going forward, keep pressing on. And we might have lost a few battles this week, but the war is not over, and we can see victory with God's help totally. And I'm believing that. And I hope to have a much better report for you this coming week. So if you pray for me, include me in those prayers. And yeah, and I hope that you all did much better this week than I did in your health journeys. Okay, I'm signing off, and I will see you soon. Take care.